Hi everyone. This video is a book review about a book that I bought not too long ago at the thrift store. And the title of this book is Herbs to the Rescue, Herbal First Aid Handbook. And it was written by Kurt King, Master Herbalist, with a beautiful illustration on the front. Now, if you know me, I love collecting books on health. I actually do have a vast collection of health books. They're just scattered between St. Louis and Hawaii, so I'm trying to gather them all together. This is what I've acquired so far. But as far as this book, even though it is small, even though it is literally under 200 pages, it's actually a little over 100 pages. It has very valuable information that possibly could save your life if you were living in the woods or if you had to survive during a crisis. So before I get into the book, I wanted to share a little bit about the author with you. So this is the author, Kurt King. This is an old photograph of him. This book was published in 1991. So basically was it 30 years ago? Yeah, almost 30 years ago. Kurt King, Master Herbalist, has been involved with natural healing for over 21 years. At the age of 16, he first studied natural health and how it related to his studies of the martial arts. Kurt holds several degrees in karate, including a black belt, and was a professional kickboxer, taking several championships throughout the Intermountain West. In 1978, Kurt met Dr. John R. Christopher and studied under him, receiving his Master Herbalist degree. He has worked with Dr. Christopher and his family for the past 11 years in one way or another involving herbs. Kurt now lives on a piece of God's good earth in a log cabin in the wild Montana mountains with his loving, supportive wife and 7 beautiful, healthy children. Now, as far as finding out more about this herbalist, I couldn't barely find anything more than what I found on the back of this book. I don't know if he's written any more books. I couldn't find any type of site for him. I don't know if he's still alive or if he's still living in the Montana mountains. Maybe he's keeping a low profile because of his lifestyle, and that's pretty okay. One of the main motivations for me getting this book was because he was a student of Dr. Christopher, and Dr. Christopher is an herbalist that I really admire. He founded a natural school of herbalism. I believe it's located in Utah. And it's still open to this day. I believe his family or his descendants are running it. You can also purchase products from them as well. I've only gotten maybe 3 or 4 of Dr. Christopher's products. I have his tooth and gum powder, which is pretty neat. This is a photograph of Dr. Christopher right here. Very intelligent man. Had a nice little following. Dr. John R. Christopher, November 25th, 1909 through February 6th, 1983. If you are looking on YouTube for more information about Dr. Christopher, he does have some lectures that are listed on there. I did not know he had lectures until I stumbled across one looking for more information about healing my teeth. He also, I think they also have a home study course. So if you want to get more information or study herbalism, you can have the supplies mailed to you, pay the tuition fees, all of that. So how this book is laid out is it's in various parts. So part 1 consists of Herbal First Aid. And it talks about remedies for certain maladies that you are having. So abscesses, acne, all sorts of just everyday things or not so everyday things like snake bites, bronchial, athlete's foot, all of that thing. So when they give you the remedy, they give you the remedy for when you're in the woods where you don't have access to any type of store, no online sales, no nothing like that, or if you have nothing on you. It's basically what you can use if you can identify plants in the woods to help with that malady at the moment. But it also has herbs that you can use if you're not in the woods, and most of these herbs are mainly Dr. Christopher's products or things that you can make yourself. So for example, let's say you are in the woods and you are dealing with like a eczema. So, or if you're just dealing with eczema in general. One remedy for eczema is black ointment. You apply it on the area at night. CTB ointment, which I don't know what that stands for, that acronym. During the day, you can use a nettle tincture, dose 15 to 20 drops a day, or apply garlic oil. So that's if you're just everyday life, or maybe in the woods, but mostly everyday life. But if you're in the woods, it says you drink nettle tea 2 to 4 cups a day, horsetail tea 1 to 2 cups a day. Horsetail, yarrow, plantain can be used topically as a poultice. At the beginning of this chapter, it talks about herbal doses. Some people, they'll just take an herb but not realize like there are dosages for these herbs because they are medicine. They can't interfere with any pharmaceuticals that you are on if you're on any medication. They can interfere with you if you're pregnant or trying to get pregnant or you have a certain illness. You have to really research what herbs you are using. So the herbal doses, all recommended doses are for adults. So all of the herbal doses in this book are for the adult body. If you have a teenager, it says you use half a dose for teenagers ages 13 through 16, 1/4 of a dose for children ages 6 through 12, and 1/8 dose for babies 2 to 6, and 1/16 dose for infants under 2 years. And it says, note, where multiple herbs are listed in the woods, herbs commonly found in nature, one or all can be used separately or in conjunction for teas, poultices, or fomentations. Use equal parts in combination. So if you are one of those survivalist type of people, I would highly recommend this book for you. It also has certain parts, but not all parts. Certain parts of the book where it's like, this is how you identify poison ivy. This is how you identify certain types of mint. There's not that many photographs, so I would recommend that in conjunction with this book, you get some type of botanical book that has photographs of the plants so that you will be able to identify these plants in the wilderness if you end up in that place. Part 2, the author focuses on 13 herbs that he personally uses and that he has found to be very helpful, especially when you are in the wilderness or trying to survive in the woods or having a series of maladies. I have acquired only maybe 4 of the 13 herbs, and at the end of this video, I'm going to show you some of the herbs that I have acquired. I've also added some of the herbs that I already had in my collection to the list of herbs to show. I chose those herbs because they're in a lot of Dr. Christopher's products, so I feel they are relevant to this book review. So the 13 herbs. The author says, as an herbalist, I have studied hundreds of herbs, but very few have I gotten to know in a very personal way. As I have gotten to know these 13 herbs for survival, my awe for the spirit that moves within all things has deepened with greater love and respect. I view these herbs as healing friends from the Creator. So the first herb he lists is yarrow, which I thought was kind of neat because a lot of our customers at my job have gotten yarrow, but I never knew what it was for. Many of them were women that used it for yoni steaming, which is like, vaginal steaming for vaginal health and other things to assist with like issues there, to increase your fertility. So it says, I began first with one of the most sacred and powerful of all herbs, yarrow. It was said around 120 years ago by a visionary holy man that when troubled times came, if you had this sacred herb, you will be able to ward off any type of plague or fever. Yarrow is a powerful healer and purifier. Its fragrance seems to reach deep down inside you. And so you can use yarrow for female reproductive organs, regulating menstruation in younger women, and also menopause. You can use it for abdominal disorders, nose bleeding, migraine headaches, blood cleansing, bone marrow, just a host of other things. Now with herbs, some herbs are targeting one particular thing, but most herbs can target an array of things. So if you take it for one issue, you might be treating several other issues that you don't even know about at the same time. The second herb he lists is nettle. And he says that it is a natural energizer. It is mild like cayenne, stimulating circulation, fatigue, and exhaustion. So it's great for fatigue and exhaustion. It has vitamins A and C. It is good for hair growth and blood cleansing and blood building. I've seen a lot of people use nettle for eczema and also for hair growth, mainly. Usually, just from working with people who are interested in health, most of them start with herbs just for cosmetic reasons. They're like, I need my hair to grow. I need my skin to be glowing and all of these things. And they end up healing some malady that they didn't know that they had. The third herb is horsetail, and it is a valuable herb for building calcium, preventing arthritis and rheumatism. It is good for kidney and bladder troubles and increasing, urination. So if you're having any issues with kidneys and bladders, you might use horsetail, but consult your doctor. I have been using horsetail every day because horsetail is high in silica, and the hair, skin, and nails consists of silica. It also can assist in re-enamelizing the teeth. So I'm mainly taking horsetail for re-enamelizing my teeth. The first time I took it was in 2014. I just started drinking it out of the blue. And I swear to God, my hair all of a sudden just grew so thick. It was like overnight. So it's a very powerful herb. It's one of the highest herbs in silica. So if that is something that you are interested in, you can do that. Oh, it also helps for leg cramps and hemorrhaging and childbirth. The fourth herb is plantain. It says that there's a legend in India that tells of how the mongoose, after being bitten by the deadly cobra, goes off into the field or forest to find its antidote, plantain. So it's an internal insecticide, and you can use it for poisonous bites and stings. So if you are in the woods, definitely take plantain with you. Mullein. They say that mullein helps to ease throat and lung congestions. It helps with bruises, frostbite, hemorrhoids, earaches, blisters, stomach. You can use it as a skin wash and just in case of emergency. Now, mullein was one herb I recognized in this book because a lot of our customers would come in when they couldn't get sea moss, they would get mullein because mullein helps in assisting with clearing the throat, getting mucus out of the throat, expelling it, and also, I want to say, healing clots that are in the lungs or reducing clots that are in the lungs. So I sent mullein to this girl I sent something else, but I may send mullein to her because she has some issues going on with cancer. So I want to prevent it from spreading in her body. But if you are the type that's always having breathing problems, issues, mullein would be the plant for you. Number 6 is dandelion. It's good for chronic inflammation of the liver and hepatitis. It is good for the gallbladder. It's a blood purifier, excellent for acne, and full of vitamin A. If you have poor eyesight and night blindness, you can use this one as well. The next one is shepherd's purse. Shepherd's purse is named because it has an unusual heart-shaped seed pod and can be found almost anywhere. So when the situation arises where someone is bleeding from a cut or wound, you can almost rest assured that shepherd's purse will be close by. It's so funny, like there's so many herbs, but people are fixated on like this particular herb. But there's so many herbs that are so powerful that people don't think about or know about. And this is one I never see somebody get. But I think this would be good. It says it's also for bleeding of the nose, stomach, intestines, uterus, and hemorrhoids. You can use it for fibroid tumors of the uterus. It also helps with equalizing blood pressure, high and low. Number 8 is chickweed, and this is very short for it. Rashes, abrasions, bruises, boils, blisters, and burns. Chickweed will also help with bronchitis and sinus headaches without drying out the nasal passages. The 9th one, which is so popular, is elderberry. Elderberry. Every day people come in and get elderberry. Elderberry syrup, elderberry syrup, elderberry syrup. I need elderberry syrup. I need elderberries. And they just get it all day long, elderberries. So it says elderberry, Dr. Christopher's family, it states, had a dying infant who had fever. So they were told by a friend to use elderberry flowers and peppermint, because not even in the last hours of life would this combination fail. They gave it a try, and sure enough, the baby pulled through. You can use it for fevers. A lot of people use it to build their immune system. You can also use it as a salve for boils and splinters, upset stomachs, but you have to be careful. The leaves and roots are poisonous. Unripe fruit can cause diarrhea and vomiting. The 10th herb is mint, which I absolutely hate. That's like, I hate mint in all forms. But I respect it. But I hate it. But I respect it. Because this stuff is very powerful. It can help with like circulation. It can help with stomach acid. You can also use it for like hair growth. It says horse mint. On this page it lists 4 different types of mint. I didn't know pennyroyal was a mint though. I didn't know that. I've mostly heard of pennyroyal using it for aborting a child, but that's what I remember for it. That's why I tell pregnant women, don't take any pennyroyal. It says, caution to pregnant women, the oil should never be used and the dosage should not exceed more than 1 to 2 cups of tea a day. I just stay away from it. Number 11 is alfalfa. Now that is called the king of foods because it's so high in vitamins and minerals. I believe they also make chlorophyll from alfalfa, but don't quote me on that. Because of its deep roots, and it is a cure-all for all wasting diseases. It helps with inflammation, cleansing the blood, stimulating the appetite, and it also helps heal skin tissue damaged by radiation. The next herb is red clover, which I love red clover. I love it. Red clover is a blood purifier. You can use it for hair growth. You can use it for skin. You can use it if you're having like issues with menstruation. It's high in potassium, chromium, manganese, phosphorus, calcium, magnesium, niacin, chromium. It also helps with glucose tolerance. It helps to expel any waste in the system and assists with the nervous system. Yeah, I love red clover. I used to drink it all the time and my skin was just amazing. The 13th herb is Oregon grapefruit, which I never paid attention to until I got this book. I know I recognized it at my job, but I was like, okay, what is that? I don't know what it is. But apparently, it is called herb of the blood, And because of the bitter alkaloid berberine and Oregon grape, it is antiseptic and antibacterial. It lowers fevers, strengthens the intestines. It's a liver stimulant, a laxative, and helps with the gallbladder. So yeah, those are the 13 herbs that he lists in this book. Part 3 consists of helpful reminders. When faced with any illness, the best thing to do is to go on a mild food diet. For faster healing, whether it be a life-threatening illness or not, we have found you get better results when you do like a cleansing program. So he talks about attitude being everything, which is very true. Because if you panic, you cannot think clearly and you'll make a series of mistakes that can only make things worse. In the back of the book, he gives a brief tutorial on how to help a woman who's giving birth in the woods, like step-by-step instructions on how to deliver a baby if there is no doctor around. So that's another reason I'm keeping this book, because who knows what's going on in this society where you might have to give birth to a baby in the woods. He talks about the colon. He also has a section where it's lists of herbs mentioned in this book, which is pretty cool. He also gives definitions of herbal preparations. There's teas, there's infusions, decoctions, herbal enemas, fomentations, a poultice. I had never heard of a bolus until reading this book. I've heard of everything else except bolus. So a bolus is used internally as a poultice for the vagina or rectal area. You mix enough powdered herb with olive oil to the consistency of bread dough, roll into a long roll the diameter of your smallest finger, cut into 1-inch lengths and freeze until ready to use. Insert 1 or 2 at night before going to bed. Rinse out with a douche or enema in the morning. Herbal oils, herbal baths, tinctures, a mineral bath. He also gives you herbal sources of minerals, so herbs that will give you your source of iron, magnesium, manganese, silicone. He gives you a list of herbal vitamins. So if you need B12, let's say you're a vegan, catnip, alfalfa, comfrey, burdock, dandelion, ginger, mullein, red clover, white oak bark, chickweed, and cayenne. And I'm saying B12 in particular because I'm not a vegan, but I've known a lot of vegans that have B12 deficiencies. One of my friends had a friend who was vegan, and it's really sad this happened to her. But she had a B12 deficiency, and she literally almost has lost her sight and her ability to walk. So if you are vegan, I would really suggest dosing up on these herbs with consent from your doctor. You have to talk to your doctor first. But getting a sufficient amount of B12 from as many sources as you can, so you won't have something like that happen to you. He also has in the back an appendix for what to do in case somebody's bleeding, how to make a tourniquet, how to do CPR, the Heimlich maneuver, hypothermia, frostbite, heat stroke. The frostbite one was kind of scary. Hypothermia, like if you're bit by a snake, how to help somebody with shock. And the last part of this book, which I really found helpful, was Survival in the 21st Century. Observing the changes in the world, man-made and natural, it doesn't take a political genius or an earth scientist, I don't know this, dang, these people, or an earth scientist to realize we are in time of great transition. We must prepare. Have at least a year's supply of food on hand. Have a year's supply of herbal medicines on hand and a basic knowledge of where to find them in nature. Clothing for all occasions, non-hybrid seeds for a large garden for fresh food, tools and basic knowledge of how to use them, like woodworking, and how-to books on everything. That's why people like, Kiara, you're crazy. You have books on everything. Yeah, I got books on everything. Because if it goes down, I'm going to have the knowledge with me. That's why I try to memorize everything right now while I still have the time before like a systematic breakdown of the USA. I'm just saying. But he also gives a list of healthy food storage, like how many pounds of what you need, which is so helpful. Like they'll be like, oh, stock up on food. How much food do I need? He gives you measurements. Basic storage for one person for 1 year. 300 pounds of wheat, 20 pounds of oils. And then he like lists the oils, he lists the seeds. Like it's just very, very helpful. That's why I'm never getting rid of this book. He also has an herbal first aid kit. And most of them consist of formulas by Dr. Christopher. And it has a list right here. Then he has herbs for a year's supply and what form to get them in, how many pounds, how many ounces of them. And the last part of the book, for some reason, they focus on comfrey and cayenne, which I'm like, okay. I think that's the only unnecessary part of this book. But I think he put it there because it was something that Dr. Christopher held in high esteem. So I think it was to honor Dr. Christopher. But if it wasn't for that, I'd be like, why are we just focusing on comfrey and cayenne? They have references and resources of other books you can get. One of them is the Bible, the King James Version, which I thought was pretty cool. I was like, that's interesting. I think they were Christians. Just from hearing Dr. Christopher talk, it sounded like a Christian. Like most of those older herbalists were of that nature. Most of the herbalists you'll come across now are more into like, they're either very religious, they might be Christian, they might be Hebrew Israelite or like some other belief system, or they'll be like into the occult or New Age. But I've never really come across herbalists that didn't have some type of belief system, which I find pretty interesting. Then in the back it has College of Herbal Studies. I don't know if this is still relevant right now, but it has like all of the herbal programs you can take, the home courses you can take. But yeah, and a list of Dr. Christopher's books. So even though this was a small book, it's a very valuable book. I would suggest you get it, especially if you are a person who is into prepping, if you are one that is thinking about living off the grid, especially if you're thinking about living off the grid. This would be very helpful for you. Survivalists, those who are trying to like go camping and different things, always being prepared for anything that's coming our way. So thank you for watching this video. In the next part of this video, I'm going to show you all of the beautiful herbs that are mentioned in this book, or just a chunk of the herbs that are mentioned in this book. And I hope you learned something today. You can start your herbal collection if you desire. Have a nice day, everyone, and talk to you later. Hello, everyone. In this part, I'm going to show you 4 of the 13 herbs that I mentioned in my book review earlier. Now, I couldn't acquire all of the herbs, but I acquired as many as I could. On this side are the herbs mentioned in the book, and on this side are herbs that I already had in my collection. I placed them over here because they are relevant to the book review, since they are in a lot of Dr. Christopher's products. After I get done with the video, I'm going to drink some tea. I'm going to use it in my Name It and Claim It cup, which I designed, and my little unicorn tea ball. So over here is yarrow, so pretty, blood purifier, internal strengthener. Mullein, as I mentioned earlier, good for the lungs. This is red clover. If you're ever out and about and you see like a 3-leaf clover, you might see a red clover growing out of the clover leaf. Over here is horsetail, which I have been drinking every single day. I'm doing it for the health of my teeth. My hair is actually growing more because I've been adding more silica to my diet. Over here is oat straw. This, I believe, may be in Dr. Christopher's herbal tooth powder, but I'm not sure. I have been drinking oat straw and white oak bark with the horsetail every single day. These three are high in silica, and they also help with strengthening the teeth. Now, this is white oak bark, and this is oat straw. Right here is comfrey root, and they say don't drink it too long because it can damage maybe the liver or the kidneys. I can't remember which organ. I've actually gotten mixed reviews on comfrey root because on Star West Botanicals they say don't use it, don't ingest it, or don't eat it, only use it externally, which I'm like, okay, why is there comfrey root tea? Like, I'm very confused. So I don't know if you're supposed to use it as just a poultice or if you can take it internally. So I think I'm going to keep taking mine internally because it helps to mend broken bones and also helps with teeth. Now right here is holy basil. A lot of people use it for hair growth, like they'll use it as a hair rinse. I like holy basil because it reminds me of the goddess Lakshmi. I feel it's a plant that is connected to her, or Tulsi. I believe it may be called Tulsi. So these are the herbs that I have. If you are a person that's interested in herbs or making herbs, I would suggest that if you start drinking tea, you should just go one herb at a time just to see what it's like on its own, because each of these herbs can stand on its own. But you can also make a potent formula of all of them. Some herbs work better with one another as far as taste, but if taste is not something you're interested in and you want just potency like medicinal uses, you can always find recipes online, or you can get your own herbal tea making books. So I hope you learned something today. I hope this was interesting for you. And everybody have a beautiful, beautiful, happy reading.